Fans over here with Coach Bobby. Coach Bobby, we're here in New York. We just experienced something, great last weekend. I would say busy weekend. You have a fighter, undercard, Triple G, Steve Rose. What can you tell us about your fighter?
MarcusMcDaniel. He's undefeated, 15-0. We're fighting another undefeated kid, 14-0, Ali Akhmedov. It's gonna be a good fight. You get to this point where you're at that. You want to take a step up, and that's where both of them are at.
You're talking about step up. Actually, risk it's on the line because they put in the record on it. But for this fight, how you guys got prepared when it comes to this different level fight? Because eventually now it's I would say it's not even, or I don't know if it is even, but
yeah, I mean on paper it's even. You look at both of them are really they've faced kind of limited opposition. Marcus is a great athlete. He's coming off a layoff. He just fought Brian Vera about 4 months ago, and that was definitely his toughest fight. Vera's a veteran, smart guy. So, and then Ali kind of the same thing. He hasn't really stepped up yet. So this is but you're fighting on the Triple G undercard, so you got to fight somebody.
You got to find somebody. It's something that fight fans they like to see this type of fights in order that these two fighters that will put everything on the line, their record and everything. When it comes from your fighter, how you guys prepare in the strength and conditioning that you actually do for?
Well, most of these guys they have their own strength and conditioning guys. I do the boxing, so the last 2 weeks we're not doing any strength and conditioning anyway. So we're doing row work, all the natural stuff, no weights. So we cut all that out pretty early.
Was it this in order to help a little bit the fighter, in order that he won't be hurt or swollen or
too
something
tight,
like that?
yeah.
Too tight, exactly.
Yeah, cut all that out. So all the hard stuff is done. Just focusing on technique and going over the game plan.
We recently experienced, as I said, this past weekend, Andy Ruiz, anthonyjoshua. Of course, you were there. What was it? The reaction, or what are your thoughts right now on this? Impressive, win over anthonyjoshua that Andy Ruiz performed on that night.
Everybody's shocked. There's nobody that's not shocked, but. Except for Andy. Andy, he felt like he was, he had a chance. That's the thing. So these guys, Andy trains hard. He may not look like it, but he's a real fighter. He's always been a real fighter. And really, honestly, Andy really doesn't have a loss. I thought he beat Joseph Parker. So, he was definitely dangerous. Joshua didn't look right, and Ruiz took advantage of it. And it's great for boxing. Upsets are good. This year there's been seven upsets. So
oh my God!
Yeah, it's happening a lot.
When it comes to heavyweight division, we already watch the performance of Deontay Wilder that he did on Dominic Brazil. We just hope that Dominic Brazil is also okay, even though
of course
he took a loss and everything. People sometimes they watch and they be like, oh, he's a. They bring some comments, negative, and even Deontay Wilder at the press conference says, don't hear these negative, comments, because at the end of the day, you're not stepping with anybody inside the ring. You're stepping with somebody, and let's say if in case someone gets a loss in the career, you just gotta keep your head up and continue. He says this is not the end of the career, so just bounce back, make new adjustment, but hey. Because that's what exactly Deontay Wilder said, and I love it to hear that from him, because I thought he was gonna say something different. But now the PBC has all the bells. What do you think is next right now? I mean,
well, I mean it's definitely. I mean, obviously there's a rematch clause, so that's gonna happen, and then we have to go see what happens there. Ruiz is still a live dog. A lot of people saying Joshua's gonna beat him in a rematch, but. You never know. It's boxing, and we'll see if Andy can pull it off again. And then obviously if Andy wins again, you're right. They have all the belts. Nothing standing between Wilder and Ruiz fighting each other.
Yep.
So but then you got Tyson Fury.
Exactly.
So in my opinion, he's the real champion. Listen, the fight was close with Wilder. I thought Fury won, but Wilder's by far the most dangerous guy in the division. He carries his power all the way to the end. A lot of guys don't do that. A lot of guys are strong early, first 3 or 4 rounds. In the last round, he still carries his power. So he's definitely the most dangerous guy out there.
Yes, I agree with you. When we watched this performance against Dominic Brazil, we were trying to figure out and trying to name, his power, because he's like something, I call it out of the other, something different planet, because it's like, I call it the magic punch, but other people, they call it the Thor power, so from the movies.
It's explosive.
And it's explosive, and as you mentioned, during the rounds, like he's continuing working and like trying to break it down his opponent. He carries the power, and I'll be like, whoa, this man is something else. What are your thoughts on now that Tyson Fury is gonna face this opponent, that he's gonna make his debut over here in the U.S.?
But I think Tyson wins pretty easily. To me, before Tyson, before he fought Wilder, I thought he was the best one out there, because he's a great boxer. He's a big guy, but he makes himself small. He's hard to hit, so it's a great. People don't like his style. It's kind of boring, but me, I like it. He's slick. I like good defensive fighters.
A lot of people mistaken that, probably because the way he looks, they probably might think that he's not gonna have a footwork or something like that in order that he can slick move. But hey, he proved that already. So
yeah, 100%.
And I think we expecting great fights in the heavyweight division.